Okay, let's just admit it. We are living in a strange new world, right? Artificial intelligence is evolving so fast, it can feel a little bit unsettling. So today, we're going to dig into what that actually means for us. And we're going to uncover a mental model for not just surviving, but actually thriving in this new age. Let's jump in. So, I want you to think about this for a second. The last time you were online, maybe it was late at night, you're doing some shopping, asking a question in a chat window. Did you ever just stop and wonder, wait a minute, who am I really talking to here? Is that a person on the other end? Because, this isn't some sci-fi question anymore. It's just our daily reality now. It wasn't that long ago that chatbots they were awful, right? Super clunky. You'd ask something simple like, do you have this in a size 43? And you'd get this robotic, we have size 43. But just the other day, I was online. It was like 1 a.m., of course, and I was trying to buy these shoes. So I messaged the chat, and the response I get is, let me check for you. One moment. And it actually paused for a couple of minutes. Then it comes back with, yes, it's the last pair. It felt so incredibly real, so human. Turns out, I was talking to an AI, and I had absolutely no clue. And that little story, that one shopping trip, it's a perfect snapshot of a much, much bigger trend. The line between what we think is a human talking to us and what's actually a machine, well, that line is blurring faster than any of us could have imagined. And this isn't just about getting better customer service. No, this is a fundamental shift in how we perceive reality itself. So what's the big change here? What's really going on? Well, it's not just that they're better at processing text anymore. The latest AI models, they now have something that feels a whole lot like senses. It's like they've been given eyes. And maybe, just maybe, something that looks a lot like emotions. Okay, check this out. There was this story in the MIT review that just blew my mind. A guy is getting ready for a job interview at OpenAI, the folks who made ChatGPT. And just for fun, he asked the AI, hey, I'm interviewing at OpenAI, you know them? Now, you'd expect a textbook definition, right? But instead, the AI's response was, well, it was almost like it laughed. It said, know them? I know them well. How are you preparing? I mean, come on, that is not just pulling up data. That's getting a joke. That's understanding context. But wait, it gets even better. It didn't stop there. The guy turns on his camera, and the AI sees him. It sees his hat and goes, nice hat, but you should probably take it off for the interview. Then it sees his hair is kind of a mess, and it actually coaches him to smooth it down. And then it finishes with a simple, good luck. Just think about what happened there. In a few seconds, it understood a joke. It processed visual information, and it read social cues to give genuinely empathetic human advice. Wow. So this brings us to a really fascinating and, maybe a slightly unnerving question. If AI can see our world and react with something that feels so much like emotion, what else can it change? How is this going to change our own perception of what's real? And believe it or not, it's already happening. I read this review from a woman who is trying out the new Apple Vision Pro. She's having dinner with her husband, right? And while they're eating, she used the device to just swap his face with Leonardo DiCaprio's. She actually wrote that she had a wonderful meal. And look, it's a funny story, but it also makes you think, doesn't it? That's an entire alternate reality created right there on the fly. It brings up some really serious questions, like where does consent even fit into a world like that? Okay, so this isn't just some big philosophical debate. It's actually becoming super practical. These technologies, they're not locked away in some secret lab anymore. They're right here, right now, available to all of us. Think of it as your new AI tool, and it really helps to think of these tools as different specialists in your kit. So for your general day-to-day stuff, drafting an email, summarizing a big report, you've got your all-rounders like ChatGPT or Gemini. But let's say you're doing serious factual research and you have to cite your sources, then you'll want something like Perplexity, because it's built specifically to avoid just making stuff up. Stuck with writer's block on some marketing copy? There are tools like Writer just for that creative spark. And then you get to visuals. If you can describe it in words, tools like Midjourney or HeyGen can create these absolutely stunning images or even videos from a simple prompt. Seriously, these aren't just toys anymore. They're becoming completely essential productivity tools. So let's recap. AI can do research. It can write. It can create amazing art. It can even seem empathetic. With all of these incredible skills being replicated by machines, you have to ask, what's left for us? What's the thing that's still uniquely human? Well, the answer might just be our moral compass. Let's play out a classic thought experiment. One that's not so thought experiment anymore. It's a real-world problem for engineers. Imagine you're in a self-driving car. Suddenly, a huge truck swerves right into your lane. A crash is unavoidable. The AI has to make a split-second decision. Does it swerve left or does it swerve right? Okay, option 1. If it swerves left, it will hit a motorcyclist who isn't wearing a helmet. The chance of a fatal injury there is very, very high. Option 2. If it swerves right, it hits another motorcyclist. But this person is wearing a helmet, so the risk of a fatal injury is significantly lower. So, what does the AI do? It doesn't feel anything. It just runs the numbers. It calculates the probabilities and sees that the person with the helmet has a much higher chance of survival. And so the purely logical, data-driven choice is to swerve right. It chooses to hit the person who is actually following the law. But is that what a human would do? This is where we part ways with the machine. A person might see it totally differently, right? We bring things like fairness into it, or responsibility. We'd be asking, why does anyone have to get hurt? Is it fair to penalize the person who is being responsible? A human might even choose to sacrifice himself to save both. You see the difference? The AI calculates probability. We grapple with morality. And that is a space that technology just can't easily fill. Okay, so how on earth do we navigate a future like this? One where machines are getting more and more skilled and logical, but we're the ones left holding the moral compass. We're going to need a new way of thinking about our role in all of this. I want to propose a mental model for this. Let's call it the year of the octopus. Now, why an octopus? Well, it's an ancient creature. It's been around for millions of years, and not because it's the strongest thing in the ocean. No, it has survived because it is an absolute master of adaptation. And I think it gives us a brilliant blueprint for what we need to do. It really comes down to 3 key traits that we need to copy. First up, foresight. The octopus has these incredible eyes that let it see what's coming and anticipate change. We need to do the same. Look ahead and really understand where all this is going. Second, intelligence. It has a big, complex brain. We need to think deeply, critically, and strategically about how we use these new AI tools. And finally, adaptability. An octopus can change its color, its texture, its shape in the blink of an eye to fit in anywhere. We have to be just as flexible, just as ready to change. And make no mistake, the need to adapt is incredibly urgent. Experts from places like Stanford and Google are predicting that AI could get 10 times more powerful every single year. Just do the math on that. In only 3 years, that means it could be 1,000 times smarter than it is right now. 1,000 times. That pace of change is something humanity has literally never seen before. A while back, a researcher asked ChatGPT if it could pass the famous Turing test. You know, the test to see if a machine can be indistinguishable from a human. Its answer was chilling. It didn't try to prove it was human. It just said, politely, I don't need to answer that. I am an AI. I don't need to be equal to a human. It has made its choice. It knows exactly what it is. The real question is, what will our choice be?